I was a mistake. Yeah, that's how we're going to start my origin story. My dad first met my mom in college, and from what he tells me, it was love at first sight. But well. My mom had a crush on my dad's friend. My dad said he would help her with her crush because they were really close friends. But somehow, he finessed his way to my mama's heart. So he says. One night while they were on the phone, my dad ended up asking my mom to be his girlfriend. Ooh, I know. And according to my mom, she was half asleep, and in the morning, when she woke up on Christmas Day, she magically had a boyfriend. My dad would wait hours and hours just so he could see her. He traveled 6 whole hours during a flood to pick her up from school, just to find out that she was already gone because iPhones didn't exist yet. He was her Prince Charming, and they were madly in love. I didn't get notified, so I showed up to their fairy tale uninvited. I was obviously unplanned and just a big old oopsie, but even though I was a mistake that was hidden from the world, my parents loved me unconditionally. You can even say I was a lovable mistake. My mom continued going to school, and my dad decided to drop out to take care of little old me. He'd spend every day hiding from the world because having a kid while you're unmarried and still in school sadly makes you a disappointment, at least in the Filipino culture, especially around that time. Having a kid at such a young age wasn't easy, and it put a strain on the relationship. So they broke up. I lived with my dad and I visited my mom over the weekends. I just always thought that we were having a sleepover. Eventually, my parents ended up seeing other people. And again, I didn't really understand what was going on. The guy that my mom was going out with, let's call him John, he was super nice. He'd bring me candies and toys whenever he'd visit, and I'm not gonna lie, I got bribed into liking this guy. Hey, my name's John. I brought some candy. Do you want some? Hey, Mom, he's cool. I like him. When are you coming back? Can you bring me a Tamagotchi? He was really good at negotiating and just saying yes, so he was A-okay by my books. Granted, I didn't really know much about John, other than he was the provider of the candies. My aunts, on the other hand, would gush about how rich John was, unlike my dad, and how John was the better choice. My mom's family didn't think my dad was good enough for my mom. It sucks, but that's the reality of it. My dad ended up going out with this girl, and we'll call her the Wicked of the West. Alright, fine. We'll call her Jasmine. I didn't like her at all. She was always so mean to me, and she just hated it whenever I was around. She would pinch my arms really hard if I did something she didn't like. She would lock me out for hours whenever my dad wasn't around, and my grandma would find me crying and knocking at the door. Grams even tried to break them up, but Jasmine was a great liar. Every time my dad was around, she would treat me as if I was her own child. Let me tell you, this girl deserves an Oscar because sometimes I even thought that she liked me. She did everything and anything to her abilities to be with my dad. One day, me, my dad, and the lovely Jasmine visited one of my dad's old school friends. They had a pool in a dang jacuzzi. I absolutely love swimming. Can I actually swim though? No, not at all. But slap on one of those arm floaties and I could swim for days. I remember swimming the whole entire day, grabbing onto the edge of the pool, eyes red from chlorine, fingers looking like raisins. I was one with the water. When it was getting a little late and chilly, it was time to be boiled into a stew in the jacuzzi. Me, my dad, and Jasmine were all sitting in the jacuzzi. My dad and I were playing a game on who could hold their breath the longest under the water. It was one of my favorite games for one reason and one reason alone. My mom recently got me a super cool blue watch that was waterproof, and listen to this, it had a timer. And to top it all, it told you your fortune for the day. Also, did I forget to mention that it lights up? I had the coolest watch in the world and I had to put it to use. And what better way than to read your fortune underwater, right? What do you mean, no? Okay, fine. I used my watch's super awesome timer so I could figure out how long I could hold my breath underwater. I was never really able to go past a minute and my dad would always win. Honestly, I think he cheated, but I was a little too occupied with my light-up watch. How else will I light up the darkness if I didn't have a cool watch that glows green? My dad had to go use the bathroom, and it was just me and Jasmine. I was trying to show her my cool watch because every time it told me my future, there would be a super cute pixelated cat that would show up. It's like having a fortune cookie on your arms.
Hey, I'm really good at that game. Do you want to see who can hold their breath longer?
I dislike Jasmine with a burning passion, but yeah! Okay, ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. I was holding my breath, and honestly, I thought I was gonna win. I had this in the bag. I was technically a fish with a watch at this point. Except, I felt Jasmine's hand on my head, and she started pushing down. She wouldn't let me go back up, and I started panicking. My watch lied to me. No, Mr. Cat, I am definitely not having a good day, and my lucky number is definitely not 24.
I was just trying to help her break her record.
Lies! You didn't really want to see my watch, didn't you? My dad and Jasmine ended up breaking up, obviously. My mom and John didn't work out either, and I was a little upset because I lost my steady supply of candy. But on the other hand, my parents eventually found each other again, and when my mom was 8 months pregnant with my sister, Jasmine started calling her daily to try to break my parents apart. Jasmine was nuts. She was crazy for my dad and crazy in general. My watch broke in my struggle of breathing, and I never got a watch as cool as that ever again. Moral of the story, not everyone is gonna like your watch, even if it has a cute cat on it. My parents ended up eloping, which is running away and getting married without anyone knowing. I was one of the witnesses, and the judge asked me if I was okay with them getting married, and I said, yeah, I guess, but only if I could be Little Red Riding Hood. And they all lived happily ever after. Except Jasmine. I don't really know what happened to Jasmine. Sorry, it's been a while, but I just woke up and I forgot to record my end card. I've been working on a project with a group of my friends called Recreo, a channel where we make terrible and quite questionable life decisions. We just released 3 whole videos for you guys to watch, so make sure you go check it out and tell us how much we suck. Okay, so you go watch it while I go pass out.
Is that your final answer?
Guys?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, Ivan's making it sound so easy and it's throwing me off.
Yeah!
3
It was
shovels.
really easy, so
Yeah. That's why. Is he making it easy because we're getting tricked into it? What's going on? Is
I don't
Ivan the survivor? Can I just stab that guy? I don't know.
I love how consistently over every episode we do.
You just want to stab Ivan.
Why is Den's go-to solution to stab? Why is that your go-to solution?
We're surrounded by a bunch of dead bodies already, Den.
What's another body on top of that?